Stu Gatz here. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love a good gummy. Whether I'm on the golf course or winding down after a long day of carrying the show on my back, all I need is one good gummy to help me totally relax. And now, thanks to my good friends at CBDMD, getting Delta 9 THC gummies shipped directly to your door is not only possible, it's easy and affordable. How about that? Every CBDMD Delta 9 gummy is packed with 10 milligrams of THC per gummy, and let me tell you, buddy, they work. CBDMD also has Delta 9 microdose capsules that feature 1 milligram of THC, so it's easy to enjoy them whenever, wherever. And listen, I know it's easy to get confused with all the different Deltas out there, but Delta 9 THC is the same good old-fashioned THC we've all known and loved for years. To learn more about Delta 9 and everything else CBDMD has to offer, just head to cbdmd.com/Dan. Once again, that's cbdmd.com/Dan for information, education, and the best damn gummies you've ever had. Must be 21 years or older to purchase Delta 9.
All right, let's do this. You guys ready?
Yes.
We'll be done by like 1:10, 1:15-ish.
We'll probably be done by like 4, maybe.
Yeah. You
Is that cool?
You guys got like 3.5 hours?
Yeah,
Good?
like 3 hours.
I got as much time as you need, boys.
I'll tell Mark the show.
And he'll just be like, Alejandro Solana. He was like, I was at dinner with my schmuckums. I was working on my fake hawk the last few minutes. I've had to get a little rusty with it.
He's got to find like his key, right? His key, I think, is schmuckums. Once he starts getting schmuckums in, like he can...
My schmuckums.
Let's make this as quick as possible because I've started off terribly today. I left my AirPods at home and I had to borrow AirPods from a sweaty sales manager.
No, you did not.
Dangerous game.
No, you did not.
That's how committed I am to the pod today. So you guys are welcome. And also you guys.
Hey, it's not my fault you picked somebody else's AirPods.
That's how we're going to start. Welcome to the pod. We got Brendan Tobin here, Alejandro Solana. They are the host of the Porpoise Pod. Now, before we get a deep dive, we're going to, give it all the plugs you guys need today. But how did you come up with Porpoise Pod, and what other names were on the cutting room floor?
We didn't come up with Porpoise Pod. It was
what?
It was foisted upon us, but we've grown to love it.
I love it.
Corporate Suits came up with Porpoise Pod, believe it or not. I wanted to go with the Dollhouse to name after the first strip club I went to.
Yes.
But that did not make the the cut, apparently, according to corporate. They're like, you know what? Naming after a strip club that you went to. How about now?
But you can always disguise it, right? Be, oh no, it's a play on doll fans, doll house. This is our house.
You probably should have let that out of your pitch.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Maybe. Well, I just feel like everybody's always doing fin puns, so I was like, why don't we go with doll puns, and we'll make the title. And I don't know, they just didn't connect.
My big contribution was Dorsals Up podcast,
yes.
and I think
Christ
Tobin.
almighty.
I think Tobin pretended to like it just to be nice because it was like that early stage where we've never really worked together to record anything together. So he's like, yeah, I think I like that. I like that. Tobin effing hated that from the very beginning.
So,
he just never had the heart to tell me.
So you went to the mirror and you looked at it and you said, dorsals up. That's the one that's going to be the winner.
I mean, fins up. I'm kind of over it. The whole fins up thing.
So you thought
let's switch it up. Let's get more technical. Yeah, let's get more technical. Dorsals up.
Nobody ever looks cool doing this with their hand on top of their head. Like I'm a Dolphins guy, but it's just you can't look cool. Like look at me right now. I look ridiculous.
It's horrible.
I feel like Jamie Foxx came close, like in Any Given Sunday, when they were like doing that as a celebration for the Sharks. But they just kind of just did it. They didn't acknowledge it with a motto.
All right, guys. So let's try to deep dive here. All right, Mike McDaniel. He's got this perfect combination of cool and nerdy. Like being a nerd with an NFL coach is in right now. Tobin, I know you're out there almost every day. Just give me. Like, is Mike McDaniel as awesome as he looks from afar?
He's better.
Yes.
Yeah. Like he just oozes confidence for a guy who doesn't look like he would have a lot of confidence because like he looks so tiny next to Kim Bocamper during these interviews.
I mean, we all do, yeah.
But I don't know. I think he just feels like he's just winging it. I don't know. Like he's like, you know what? However these things go on these press conferences, I'm just going to say stuff. Sometimes I don't think he knows what he is saying because he's just he'll go on like sometimes an answer for like 3 minutes and then put a bow on it. He doesn't know like where to start or where to stop, but he's just like, as long as I'm chummy with a one-liner at the start of it or at the end of it and I make fun of Barry Jackson, we're good. We're good here.
It's weird, right? Because he hasn't been a head coach at any stop. And all of a sudden, this is thrust upon him where it's like, hey, you're the genius guy now, right? Like, from the tree of Sean McVay, from the tree of Kyle Shanahan, anybody who stood next to them is going to get a head coaching job. We saw with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. And now him here, is he feeling like a head coach, or is he feeling like a guy who's a coordinator who's trying to make it happen?
The thing that I've loved watching him that I think like showed head coach the most is I didn't know this, that they just actually got walkie-talkies during practice. But there's something just very leader about a walkie-talkie. So like he's like on the sidelines as camps are going on, calling the plays.
Yes.
But like he never stops. He's just like always pacing. So he'll like call out like, I don't know, like reverse to Waddle on 2. And then just like he doesn't even like look at the play. He like walks off to some other distant part just because I don't think he wants to be too involved to see if his play works. And then it's just like, I don't know. There's something commanding about him with that walkie-talkie. I was like, this guy's going to make it. He's going to be all right.
You got me thinking about being part of a tree, like, and like Tobin. What tree? What radio tree are you from? Like, what was your first show? Like, are you from the Zaslow tree? What tree are you from?
I mean, like my original tree would have been Sid Rosenberg. That was the first show that I did.
Sid the Kid. Wow.
Sid the Kid.
So that was like
Wow.
a Sid branched off to Andy King and Mike Marchand, and then
Oh my God.
then Sid left and like went to, and then I blended kind of into a Sedano tree, and then my little apple fell off and it like rolled over to the Zaslow like briar patch, and then we kind of just we regrew there.
Solana, like, are you the Hawk tree? Did you have anyone before Hawk, or what tree are you on?
No, I'm the big O tree.
Oh, wow.
I'm definitely the big O tree.
Okay.
And the big O tree. You remember like a couple of years ago in Auburn when some like Auburn fan poisoned the Alabama trees? The big O tree was poisoned.
He did time for that, by the way. Don't poison trees. That's illegal, by the way. Just so people, just
Noted.
So,
Noted. Yeah.
And I too fell off from the tree and was given a rebirth into the Hochman tree. So I guess, yes, technically I come from the Hochman tree now.
Tobin, who's in your tree? Is Robbie the Degenerate there? Who else do we got here? Is Amber in your tree?
I mean, I think she should technically be in my tree.
Look at
I think
that.
she
That
should
branch
be
is
in the tree.
soaring.
I mean, Romberg has a little branch that I fertilized over there. Now I got Marcos and Jay Fig off of the tree. And I feel like, I'm technically like Leroy brought me into his tree.
Yeah, it's
but
true.
I feel like I'm really making his tree blossom.
Man,
like I think
you're
that's
a tree,
how it's
though.
going.
Hey, man, congrats. You're a tree.
Tobin, I'd say you're more of a farmer than a tree, right? I feel like you fertilized a lot of different things and also fertilized yourself in the process. Not saying you shoot yourself. That would sound weird. Yeah.
It's appropriate. No, listen, I spent time. I grew up on a horse farm, so I'm familiar with cropping and all that type of stuff. So I'll take it.
We know you catch lizards, Tobin. We all know you do the lizard thing every year. It's cute. We got it. We know. We know.
What do you catch? What do you catch?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Strays, apparently.
What's the background here with Tony and Alejandro Solana? You guys go back far. How far?
We can actually say we're part of each other's tree.
Wow.
Alex and I.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to give him? Do you want to give him the background?
No, I'll do it. I really don't like Tony. I'll start there. I have a fond dislike for Tony. There's like Twitter beef constantly. He thinks he knows football, and he already dropped. What'd you drop? A Kevin O'Connell a couple minutes ago.
Wow.
We gotcha. Like, you know a coordinator's name.
He's the Vikings head coach.
Whatever. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Tony also he joined my Dolphins rewind show the other day and said he's big on the Vikings this year. Dude,
it flew over everybody's radar. You didn't ask me to follow up. Bad, producing by you, but whatever.
Evergreen statement every year for everybody that's ever been wrong about the Vikings. I'm big on the Vikings this year. No, but seriously, Tony and I went to FIU together. We had mutual friends because we grew up in the Kendall area, like the Killian area. We did FIU student radio, which was just awful. Like, God bless anybody who listened to that. And then Tony approached me and he's like, hey, I want to start a radio show once a week. It's going to be called The AC Show, named after him because he has a big ego.
Obviously.
And
what was going to call it, the Porpoise Pod? Like, what do you want me to do?
Should have.
And we did a local radio show once a week on 880 The Biz.
Hell yeah.
For like 3 years almost.
Yeah, like 2.5 years.
They
kicked us out, by the way.
Wow.
Unfortuitously kicked us out.
Yeah. And we did that for a while, and then We worked together. Tony like got hired at 790, and then he got me in the door, and then he left to 560 because a certain someone wouldn't hire us at 790, and someone who's no longer there. And at 560, you know, he kind of worked his way up, and he brought me along as well. So
wow, you really are.
As you can hear,
You are in his
Alex
tree.
is part of my
It
tree
sounds
because
like
I've
your
brought
tree.
him every single play. It's been like a backpack with me.
literally. I'm still waiting on the Meadowlark contract, by the way.
I mean,
I check my email diligently.
Not as much pull as I did at 560, obviously.
Understood.
I want to know what you did here, Tony, because like I
I've
thought
got
we were just gonna shoot the shit
No,
about
we
the
are.
Dolphins. This guy's got a full doc here of stats and teams. And
Oh my God.
I just do you, man. Do
I
your thing.
told Alex when he brought me on Finn's Rewind, which was great, by the way. I told him I had some stats with a Z at the end.
You want a pen?
Yeah, I did. I actually wanted a pen here to write it down. Yeah.
Are you
Sorry,
writing a
guys.
Z?
Yeah, no, I want to do hashtags.
Stats. You just writing.
Yeah.
Okay, he's showing it now. This
Hashtag stats.
This is a podcast.
Yeah. No, I know, but
Okay.
for them, just so they know. Hashtag stats with a Z.
Okay.
Some of the stuff that I was giving Alex was last year the Dolphins were the worst team in receiver separation by far, right?
Yeah.
And leading that charge was Devontae Parker, who for the last 2 seasons has been the worst receiver in separation.
Yeah.
Ranked 127th and 132nd respectively in the last 2 seasons, right?
Look at you.
Those are the ones I just gave on Finn's Rewind,
Yeah.
a little chum in the water.
Yeah.
Now, looking at what the Dolphins have brought in from a receiver and weapon standpoint, right? Like you're looking at across the board Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson, who are all top 25 in receiver separation. And that's really helpful when your offensive line is not good, right?
go.
Your receivers need to
You get me
separate.
excited as a fan right now. I'm a
Right.
little
Your
excited,
receivers
not
need
gonna
to
lie.
separate from their defenders so your quarterback can put it on them.
Then you bring in a good yak coach. I see the playoffs, boys.
This guy knows what he's talking about. You guys, you haven't said yak not once. I haven't heard of yak since we started.
I
talking.
thought you just wanted like demeanor of the coach. I didn't know you guys wanted yak and bruising. Also, I didn't remember any of the numbers you just said on Devontae Parker on separation, but it feels right
He
because
was horrible.
he
No, he
was
was
shitty.
horrible.
We get it, yeah.
He was literally the last guy in the NFL. Like if I
That's-
put on his jersey, I would have been in front of him.
it makes sense why Fitzpatrick would love him because he's just throwing up ducks and you're like, yeah, maybe Devontae Parker will land down with it. But no, like they feel like they're going to be like putting speed all over the place, deception. Like that is, I think, the beauty of what Mike McDaniel's going to bring is that there's going to be a lot of options here. He clearly values speed all over the place. And I think that was the cool thing about watching the last preseason game is you really did get the taste of it. He's going to be, going at it with a lot of different receivers. They're going to be trying to make people guess at all times. And I think that if this is a guy who actually can get the running game going, I mean, what a value it would be to a guy like Tua because, if it does become predictable, you can't tee off on him at all times. Like this could be a tough offense to figure out.
There were a few throws that Tua made in that last preseason game where he wasn't even especially accurate, but there was so much space because of the scheme in the play that a guy was able to make a catch behind him because there was just so much space. So that's encouraging to me about that.
You always want the ball to be in the right place, and obviously for the most
In the
accurate,
breadbasket.
yeah, for the most
Yeah.
accurate quarterback that Tyreek Hill's ever played with, you'd hope that those are like throws that are being led.
Right.
You want a lot of leading throws, and I think that Tua has not been great at those, unfortunately, except for like outside, like running routes to the boundary, which for some reason he puts on the money, but everything else he hasn't. I'm curious to hear your guys' answers for this because. Not me, right? I'm not. I talk to smart football people. That's my thing. I'm kind of like a liaison between smart football people and Alex.
Solana's rolling his eyes
No,
right
because
now
I have
on
to
Zoom.
feed him stuff, and he asks me questions offline and whatever. That's not the point. I don't know why I'm taking shots at you. I'm sorry. You literally have said nothing wrong, and I'm just going after. I think.
I'm letting you talk about your stats and show us that you can read off a PFF. Like everybody can get those same stats.
You haven't said
but you-
shit yet. Give me something. Go ahead. Give me something.
This is just
But
YouTube.
but
Chico.
you
Go. No, go ahead.
You
go ahead.
want to pretend. You want to pretend like you're the one who
No.
set up the cameras around all the NFL fields and then wrote the formula like you're Albert Einstein.
No.
So you literally
Copy and
come to the
pasting.
conclusion that Devontae Parker had the least amount of separation in the NFL. Bro, everybody knows those stats. Like you're
Tobin was surprised.
I just forgot what the numbers were. Like you just said last, and then you were like giving, things with decimal points.
Here's the
And I was
thing,
just
though.
like, good. You know?
Tobin, here's the thing though. That was a banger Adam Beasley tweet like once, and he got like 75 retweets off of it, and then nobody talked about it ever again. But Ant harping on it 8 months later. Devontae Parker, like we know, wasn't great at getting separation. Most of his catches were over the top of receivers when he was DBs when he was healthy. Like we know, Ant. But go ahead.
No. I'm still waiting for you to bring some sort of stats. So I'm still waiting. So tell me, like, what do you think? The offense, scheme, tell me something.
First of all, Cody said it let for a guy to come back and catch a ball. I don't have stats, but I would say it's not a guy. It's Tyreek Hill. Man, like you mentioned it, I was listening to the local hour the other day where that happened last year with Patrick Mahomes. Several balls weren't thrown over the top of him to go find him. He's just fast enough to where even if you don't throw it perfectly, he's probably going to beat the corners or the safeties to the ball. That's what makes him special. Not only the fact that he can outrun everybody, but yeah, I mean, spacing is going to be huge. We talked about it. Jalen Waddle broke the rookie receiving record for receptions, and Devontae Parker was the only other guy on the field who was a legitimate weapon. I was just looking at the top wide receivers the Dolphins had last year. It's ridiculous. Like Matt Collins was like arguably their second best receiver on the team last year. And now you're replacing Matt Collins with Tyreek Hill. You have Jalen Waddle. You bring in Cedric Wilson. Yeah, like Tua needs to be accurate. Tua is going to benefit from a run game. There's no doubt about it. But, man, like you add all those weapons, who knows what McDaniel's going to throw at us week 1, week 2, week 3. Like, we really don't know.
I'm really happy Matt Collins is gone. Like, he's wide receiver Fitzpatrick. Like, people only liked him because he was good at TikTok.
Do you guys follow him on Instagram? He's always just giving like helpful facts. He's like, water. If you drink a lot of water, it's healthy. Try to drink 8 cups a day. See you later.
That's a guy I'm not following if he's not on the team anymore. Like I couldn't wait to unfollow Matt Collins.
He's like he's dinosaur fossils. It's like what?
He's carving out to be the next Bill Nye.
Seriously.
I believe. Like as Bill Nye passes, he wants to be the next Bill Nye.
Killed Bill Nye.
Yeah, what is that supposed to mean? As Bill Nye passes, where is he passing?
He's up there. He's up there.
I love the tension in this, by the way, so far. I just love like you two. Like the hair's standing up on my arm.
Really? I feel like we haven't even started yet. I'm still waiting for this guy to say something about football.
Oh no, he just brought it. He just brought it here. The Jalen Waddle stuff.
He just brought it.
No, it was
Patrick Mahomes underthrows guys. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Wow. Earth shattering.
I liked it.
Do you want to get to the point though? Like, don't you want to get to a point as Dolphin fans where you don't have to evaluate like every Tua throw? Like, I was just happy. Okay, awesome. Tua to Tyreek, bomb, boom. We can enjoy the preseason. And then like the fact that people are like, actually, everybody, this was a negative because it wasn't quite perfect. And Patrick Mahomes, that would have been a touchdown every single time. I'm just like, it's getting exhausting to the point where like you have to defend. You can't even watch football because you're just defending every single play. And I like Tua a lot, and I hope that he works out. Seems like an absolute sweetheart, especially with Brian Flores being such a grump around him last year. But I just want to get to the point where I don't have to do that with every single throw that he has all the time. Like we could just enjoy the game. If good things happen, let's just be happy with good stuff and good football happening.
Is every fan base like dissecting quarterbacks like this, or is like because I know like when we talked about it on local hour, like I know Mike's was like 2-on. Like I think it's every local market, right? I'm sure in maybe not with the great quarterbacks.
I feel when you have a bad quarterback, you need to dissect.
Like I'm sure in Tennessee, they are still doing shows about is Ryan Tannehill going to get us to a Super Bowl?
Well, Malik Willis now after the preseason. I mean,
he does
he's
look
good.
That guy's good.
He does look exciting, but I don't know. Like it was weird when the joint practices were going on. And I had like the Philadelphia media behind me, and I figured, surely they're going to be awful and just be negative about everything. Philadelphia people, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But they were all like, wow. They were like praising Tua and saying how many things he does better than Jalen Hurts. So I was kind of surprised to hear that because I feel like in the echo chamber, it's either like we're all kind of trying to defend Tua because we want him to be good, but also like maybe we're overreacting too much to even his negative stuff too. So to hear that, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe we could just be normal about some stuff from time to time because they're not here like living and dying with every Jalen Hurts throw.
What would be the perception of Tua if he was a righty?
I think it'd be better.
Like, I just think people would think he's better. I don't know what's going on there, but it's just something about a lefty quarterback.
I was talking to Alex about it. Like, there's something about having a lefty quarterback that changes the dynamic of your offensive line, changes the way you scheme offensively. Like, that stuff changes people.
Yeah.
Can I help you, Billy Gill?
You just want to say what's up?
Billy Gill just walked in.
Alejandro Solana. I was just doing my hawk. I'm
just a fan.
Yeah.
Billy's here. Do you have anything to say about the Dolphins or no?
Up.
No.
No?
No, I'm just here to watch.
I'm waiting. You said more just now than Alex has in the last 25 minutes. It's crazy.
Why?
He doesn't say shit, dude. Anyways, scheme on lefties is interesting, right? Because you have Teron Armstead, you get Connor Williams. What do you do with these guys? Tobin, Alex, like you have these guys. Where do you put them in line?
I feel like Ant is like he wants to like impress us. Like this.
I feel a little bit of that too.
This is crazy.
I feel a little bit of that too. Like, where is he going to play? Toronto's been a left tackle his whole life. He's going to play left tackle.
But your quarterback is lefty.
I'm with you. I mean, don't you want to protect his blind side? Like, I'm kind of.
Isn't that the point?
I understand what you're saying, but they're not going to do that. Like, he's played left tackle. Like, that was a Bryant McKinney thing back in the day. He's like, I play one position. It's left tackle. And that's what he's going to play.
Okay.
The thing with Connor is, like, you're kind of rolling the dice on the center thing with him because some high snaps in camp. It's been a thing. You always got to be worried about the center with the high snaps, but I don't think that they're going to go to a place where it's like, hey, Teron, why don't you go over to that side, dude? We'll protect it to his blind side. Now, was it great that Austin Jackson got him hit on the blind side in the last preseason game? No, but he did shake it off, which I think is good for two. It's like a sparring match.
So you want him to get hit?
Just a little bit. Just knock the rust off.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to see him get up too. Like I want to know Tua beyond this year is going to be able to play a 17-game season, you know, because I know that's kind of a point of contention where he's missed time already and like the finger injury and he wasn't able to play through it. And obviously the hip stuff, which hasn't been an issue, but man, like I do want to see Tua take one and just get up, you know, and keep going, go through a 17-game season, like show us that that's not going to be an issue moving forward in your career, because it's great if we see him take the next step, which is what everybody wants. You add the weapons around him, you give him everything he needs, the offensive-minded head coach, but there is still that looming, whether we want to admit it or not, there's still that looming concern of can he survive a 17-game season? And I don't think that's as big of a concern as most people want to make it, because other than the hip injury, there hasn't been anything serious, but it's still been an issue through his first 2 years.
It's also a thing with the line with Austin Jackson. Like, okay, yes, he is not flourished. They put him at guard his second year. They're like, yeah, you know.
Never a good
But
sign.
No.
But his pedigree is supposed to be that of a guy who's going to be able to contribute to you for years, because you did take him in the first round. And same thing with Eichenberg. Eichenberg was a high draft pick. Robert Hunt was not a guy they just found undrafted. Like the young core of those guys, I think the hope is you put a couple of veterans with them who aren't bums like Jesse Davis and you didn't pay $3 for, that's going to have a trickle-down effect on everybody else. Because the hope is if you still draft a guy in the middle of the first round like Austin Jackson, you got to find a place where it's going to work out for him. And if that does happen to be protecting to his blind side, okay, that's going to be a nice win for you. But I just think that they had to have something of an assurance going into this, and couldn't buy linemen on the bargain bin like they had in years past.
That's a really tough thing to do, especially with a rookie quarterback. Like, offensive line continuity is such an important piece for an offense, right? You look at the offensive lines. Speaking of Philadelphia, really good offensive continuity. You have the Lions, who are going to be kind of sneaky good. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs have rebuilt their offensive line. Like, you have those teams that have that consistency, and I feel like the Dolphins have always had just turnstiles at offensive line positions. It's like, how can you have a rookie quarterback succeed when your most important piece on offense, your offensive line, doesn't, right? Like, and I feel almost like Brian Flores didn't trust Tua, and obviously now those reports are coming out. Is there almost a feeling that Tua was held back out of those games with his finger because Brian Flores just wanted to see somebody else do it? Is that a crazy theory? Am I wearing a tinfoil hat or no?
I think Brian Flores hated Tua's guts. I think he hated everything about him. I think he hated his chipperness. I think that he hated the fact that he probably liked to golf and that he wasn't like in the film room as much as you would for your franchise quarterback. And I think a lot of that stuff just led to distrust. But I think Brian Flores just had natural distrust all over the place between how many coaches that he fired and how many times he changed the way that the defense played things. Like, I think he was always trying to just, overcoach on certain things to try and get it right, because I think that in a lot of ways he felt like he could only rely on himself. But now I just feel like you see Tua have this attitude of empowerment around him because Mike McDaniel kind of just lets him be himself. And I do think that you've noticed that he has handled things a lot better this year. It's not all about, like, well, I don't not feel wanted. I don't feel like they are trying to replace me. Now, I think a lot of that stuff just led to distrust. But I think Brian Flores just had natural distrust all over the place between how many coaches that he fired and how many times he changed the way that the defense played things. Like, I think he was always trying to just, overcoach on certain things. And I think that in a lot of ways he felt like he could only rely on himself. But now I just feel like you see Tua have this attitude of empowerment around him because Mike McDaniel kind of just lets him be himself. And I do think that you've noticed that he has handled things a lot better this year. It's not all about, like, well, I don't not feel wanted. I don't feel like they are trying to replace me. Now, you do have Lamar Jackson liking tweets of a Dolphins uniform, so we maybe just be moving on to
Photoshop
something new.
season.
Yes, it is that season. But I think for right now, he does definitely feel more supported by a long shot than he did last year.
I feel like the distrust from Flo is our anger for Flo for that distrust is misplaced. It all goes back to Changeli. I mean, that fossil instilled distrust within Tua's game. And sure, he would have argued that he's limiting the offense because it's what Tua is able to do, right? He didn't think Tua could make the deep type of throws, which is why it was 8-9-yard passes all throughout his rookie season. But it all goes back to Changeli. Like that to me is why Flo never trusted Tua moving forward. And it's why we didn't see this version of Tua last year. It also has to do with the weapons and whatnot. But man, like they did not want him to throw the ball. They didn't.
Billy Gill's just staring at me for the last 7 minutes of you guys answering. He has just been staring at me. It's hot in this room.
It is okay.
It is so hot in
Tell him
here.
about my sweaty
I
ears.
was gonna ask.
so
ask
hot in
Tony this
here.
because I just put on Chris Cody's
They're
headphones.
soaking wet.
They're soaking wet. I've never seen ear sweat like this before.
Dude,
It's pretty
hot here.
disgusting.
It's
hot,
in
and
here.
we're all wearing sweaters, and then Billy's just drawing laser beams into the back of my forehead.
Because I didn't want to interrupt because you guys are doing a podcast.
But you can hear. You're not interrupting. You know when to jump in.
No, but I didn't want to change the direction of the podcast.
Okay, let's
but
hear it.
I was listening earlier this week to Solana on the radio, and he did a promo for his podcast that I thought was incredible, but also incredibly irresponsible. Because they ask him, how do we listen to this podcast?
Who asks
He was
him?
on with Hawk, and
Okay.
Hawk asked him, how
You're
do
on
we
with
listen?
Hawk?
How do we listen to this
Alejandro
podcast?
Solana.
And his response was, well, just listen to it on iTunes or Apple Podcasts,
Okay.
whatever, because our app sucks and you're not going to be able to listen to it that way. And I was like, I don't know that you should be telling people that your company's app is not working and that's not where you
They're
should
not
download
listening
it.
to Alex. Trust me.
I tried to
I was about to text and I was
tried
like,
to
I
frame
don't
it
know,
in
this is
the-
the way to be promoting the podcast. It's taking, your company's catching strays
I
here.
tried to frame it in the least controversial way, but what I said was true. Our podcast, you can't find it on the new Odyssey app. You just can't because of a glitch. So I explained the best way to find it is the Apple Podcast or Spotify. That's your best bet to find it. I know it's weird because we're telling people to download the Odyssey app on the radio, but for the Porpoise Pod, we're not telling you to use the Odyssey app.
Billy-
What do you want? What do you want from me, Billy?
Billy,
What
do you want
from
to
me?
change the name
I'm
of the
just trying to get
podcast?
some downloads.
No, why?
The Porpoise Pod. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong with it?
No, I'm just asking.
You have a better
We
name?
gotta.
No, they didn't have a better. Alex's was
The dollhouse.
yeah. Tobin's was the dollhouse, and Alex's was dorsals up.
Yeah.
It's good. Both
Those
of
are
them
all
are
good options.
You guys like our? We got a new player of the game segment. It's called Poppin' Bottle Noses. We're doing a lot of like.
I like that.
We're doing
porpoise puns.
we're doing porpoise puns all over the place. Like when we listen to sound of the players, it's echolocation. We're whatever. We're,
Oh, these guys
we're
are onto
just-
something. You
we're-
came up with that, right? Not Alex.
yeah. Yeah, of course. But I think any if you guys come up with anything that you know of the porpoise family, let us know. We might just turn it into a
We
segment.
should ask Ron Magill.
Ooh.
Like what a segment would
call
be.
him?
Yeah, like if the
Yeah,
Dolphins
call him right now. Put him on
if Dolphins
speakerphone.
had a sports radio show, what would Dolphins use as their segments?
What?
Hey, Roy.
I actually somehow understood
You
that.
got me,
Like,
right?
If the actual
We're
dolphin,
in the same tree.
This is a
the
crime.
animal.
Yes, the animal.
Ron, here's Billy Gill.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Billy, how are you?
So-
Fried chicken?
No, not yet. We're doing like a Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins. We're doing like a season preview for the Miami Dolphins, and we have on. Are you familiar with Brendan
Just
Tobin
keep it
and
tight,
Alejandro
Billy.
Solana?
Let's go.
Stars.
Really, but-
Okay, so they have a Dolphins podcast called the Porpoise Pod, and then they have segments like where they play Dolphin sound, like of the players after the game, and they call that echolocation.
Yeah.
Right? So we're trying to give them names for segments that are dolphin centric, but based on the animal, not on the team. So what are fun facts about dolphins that we can have segments named after?
Oh, they're sex fiends, number one.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
So write that down, guys.
Sex fiends.
Write that down,
Sex.
yeah.
They are sex fiends, absolutely.
Big sex.
Pick sex.
Oh,
Big
big
sex.
sex. Yeah.
Hashtag pick sex.
I like that.
Okay. Incredibly intelligent.
Okay.
Debatable.
We've got that
No,
down.
not debatable.
Well, they don't have iPhones. We've been over this. We don't need to keep.
No fingers either.
Yeah, no fingers. I mean,
They have a very diverse language.
Write that one down, yeah.
All right.
Anything interesting about the
Your
blowhole?
babies are born tail first, not head first.
Tails first instead of head first.
He's
Wow,
writing
that
this
is-
down.
Tails
be a
first,
coin.
yeah.
Could be a
Blowhole,
coin
yeah.
toss
So
segment.
Tobin asked about blowholes, if there's anything with that.
Well, they needed to survive. That's how they breathe. So,
All right.
Thrive
Okay.
to survive.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, thanks, Ron.
I live for it, guys. Have
All
a
right,
good one.
thanks, you too. Love you. Bye.
It sounds like we woke him up and he hates us, even though he doesn't know us.
I don't think he's a fan of mine. We were setting him up for failure when I was included.
So blowholes.
Yep.
Pick sex is good.
Pick sex is good.
Pick sex
yeah.
is good. Defensive play of the week. Pick sex.
That is really good.
Sex fiends too, not just liking sex. Fiendish.
Yeah.
Fiends.
Dolphins. I don't think that works.
Nah, I don't think
Cutting
it
room
does.
floor.
Yeah. That was actually one of the things they were gonna
Dolphins
use.
is actually
Yeah,
really good.
that's one of the
I kind of wish we named the podcast Dolphins now.
Yeah.
Well, how many episodes
Type
in
out
are
a
you?
quick
Is it
email.
too
No,
late
wait, no,
to
it's locked
rebrand?
in. No, it's locked in.
It's too late. 5 in. I feel
Plus
like
corporate gave him Porpoise Pod.
Well, but no one can hear it on their app anyways.
That's
so.
what I'm trying to that's what I was trying to tell him.
Yeah.
They can change it.
All right, I've caused enough trouble. Back
Yeah,
to Chris
see ya.
and my sweaty ears.
Stu Gatz here. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love a good gummy. Whether I'm on the golf course or winding down after a long day of carrying the show on my back, all I need is one good gummy to help me totally relax. And now, thanks to my good friends at CBDMD, getting Delta 9 THC gummies shipped directly to your door is not only possible, it's easy and affordable. How about that? Every CBDMD Delta 9 gummy is packed with 10 milligrams of THC per gummy, and let me tell you, buddy, they work. CBDMD also has Delta 9 microdose capsules that feature 1 milligram of THC, so it's easy to enjoy them whenever, wherever. And listen, I know it's easy to get confused with all the different Deltas out there, but Delta 9 THC is the same good old-fashioned THC we've all known and loved for years. To learn more about Delta 9 and everything else CBDMD has to offer, just head to cbdmd.com/Dan. Once again, that's cbdmd.com/Dan for information, education, and the best damn gummies you've ever had. Must be 21 years or older to purchase Delta 9.
Don Batard.
What did Stugatz just text you, Mike? While Bob Costas was talking very eloquently about the things that are producing anxiety in America and beyond, what did he text you?
Yeah, during your enlightened conversation, I got a text from Stugatz that said Todd Gurley Ravens, to which we all had to search for what he meant because there's no report saying that Todd Gurley signed with the Ravens. He was just texting me about a visit Todd Gurley is presently having with the Baltimore Ravens.
According to Adam Schefter, I think it's a 1-year deal now, Mike. So he gets a chance to prove himself again. Right? It's a big deal, Mike. Todd Gurley to the
1 year
Ravens.
prove it. I love a 1 year
A 1 year
prove
prove it deal. Stugatz.
It's just so he says it was Adam Schefter. So I look at Adam Schefter's Twitter account, couldn't find anything. Jess went and tracked down the tweet. Here are the red flags on this account. 1, the handle Spots Centra.
But you realize you can read that very, very quickly and think it's.
Mistake number 1. Mistake number 2. There was no check mark. It was that thing that people do to try and fool people of the white circle that kind of looks like the check mark, but is not. Sign number 3, the avatar. It's the SportsCenter logo, but in fairly sizable print above it is the word not. All the red flags, and yet Stugatz is still going. Todd Gurley, Ravens, buddy.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz.
We're presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code DAN for a special offer when you sign up. That's code DAN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Why are your ears so sweaty, Cody?
Well, it's hot in here.
It's hot. No, it's
And
hot.
we have this ring light that doesn't. I mean, it's just like.
Can you say the F word on
Yeah,
the
but-
podcast?
Well, this is for our podcast.
Can you guys curse on the podcast or no?
I think we could curse on the podcast. I don't see why.
It
we
sounds like
couldn't.
you don't, though.
No, we try not to. You know why? Because I'm very conscious in the morning of I
Kids.
do get a lot I listen with my kids, so
That's why we bleep the
just
F
used
word.
to it.
That's why we bleep the F word because we get that. What? That is why we bleep the F word. Why'd you say?
Yeah, because we get so much else gets through that it's working.
Right. Most.
I've definitely listened to you guys with my kids, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna save this for later.
Yeah, sorry
I don't
about
need to
that.
be. My son is getting on repeat stage where he's 6, and so he's a parrot, whatever it is. You know, I'm trying to not have him be the bad kid in class.
So Chris Cody asking if Amin has a little dick in him, that would not make the cut for the kiddos in the car.
That's gonna at least get a volume down. We'll see if we come back at a more appropriate time.
Who has more dick in them?
I thought it was a phenomenal question.
Who has more dick in them, Hawk or Leroy Hoard?
Oh, Hawk by leaps and bounds.
Yeah,
That's not even close.
Leaps and bounds. Wow.
That's not even close.
I mean, Leroy really has it out for me, Tobin.
That's
so
true.
I'm gonna go with Leroy.
So you both are going the. Okay,
Leroy
I see what's
does not
here.
like me.
I see what's happening here.
Can we mend the fences somehow on this
Leroy just
podcast or no?
With Leroy,
No.
no. I don't think there's any mending, and I haven't done anything to him, which is the weird thing. Like he any opportunity he gets to come on our show on Hawk and Crowder and just rip me every time he comes on. It's 30 minutes of him just ripping me. Like I had knee surgery, and he ripped me for having knee surgery.
So did you tell the people how you got knee surgery? Could you want to tell our audience how you got a knee surgery? How you had a torn ACL?
I tore my ACL.
Yeah, how?
I blew out my knee non-contact playing basketball.
Doing what?
Hop step.
Hold on. When you say hop step, you were like trying to do like the Tyler Hero baby float, or you were doing drills?
Yeah, I had a couple cones set up, and no, I got a rebound. I jumped for a rebound, and when I got the rebound, I did a hop step to make like my first move, and my knee just.
Man,
that's terrible.
Yeah,
the non-contact.
I'm having another surgery. I'm having another surgery on my knee a week from today, by the way.
So he's gonna rip you for that one.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
definitely
It'll
gonna
be
happen.
bad.
Although, in fairness to Solana,
Yeah,
he did break the Trill Williams news. Like he knew about Trill Williams' torn ACL before anybody. That was broken on the Porpoise Pod. Now, I don't know if the release got before Barry Jackson got to Twitter, but I know we recorded it before Barry Jackson tweeted it.
That's something to hold on to. I like that.
Yeah, that's on my resume actually.
I feel like with McDaniel being here, everyone's focusing on Tyreek Hill in the offense, but if last year's Brian Flores defense was a 10, even though obviously it wasn't, let's just call it a 10, what can this defense be? Because it's going to be the same system, right? It's the same coach that's still there. So how close can we get to just like replicating last year's defense?
That's going to be an interesting one because I think that they have a couple of guys in Jalen Phillips and Javon Holland who I think they really feel can take huge leaps. Like Jalen Phillips, I know it's preseason, but like he had Gardner Minshew running for his damn life. They were trying to tackle him. He looked like a monster in the joint practice too. He started a fight, which I love because I always thought he was just a little too nice. And I think if with D-line and guys who go get the quarterback need a little nasty, I think he's got more of that than we thought. Also, like Jason Taylor kind of giving that like seal of approval to him on the broadcast was great too. So I think the pass rush could actually be a lot more dangerous this year than it was last year because they got off to such a slow start. And Holland, I think kind of the cat's out of the bag as far as his versatility and everything that he can kind of bring. Maurice Jones-Drew called him the most versatile player in the NFL going into last year before he took a snap, which is kind of a crazy thing to say.
Yeah,
I guess he coached him in high school, but he hasn't made him look like an idiot. I think that he has shown that versatility all over the place. I think the biggest concern though has to be that, Byron Jones has this injury. He's going to miss the first 4 games going on the PUP list. And the depth there on cornerback, not great.
Number 9 makes me nervous. I don't know how to say his name, but he makes me nervous.
Igbenogany? Yeah. Not great.
You don't know how to say his
celebrated.
name? Wasn't he a second-round pick?
First.
Dude, I'm no Tony. I'm no expert like Tony.
Noah,
okay, I see a confusing name and I don't even try it. I just, I'm just like, number 9.
It's funny because in the game against the Eagles in the first quarter, they threw right at him, like one of the first plays from Gardner Minshew, and he had a nice deflection, right? Like he broke up the pass, turns around, and almost was like, "Come on, keep throwing at me, keep throwing at me." And we're like celebrating. Noah made one good play.
Ooh, Noah.
Really, we're
Noah.
celebrating. Noah made one good play. Yeah.
But I was happy because normally that's going to end up with him getting torched. So the fact that he actually made a good play, maybe it's a starting point. I don't know. Like McDaniel said, I think he said, like, what is something about Noah that you really like? He goes, short memory. He's got that mental fortitude. I'm just
That's not good.
Wait,
I don't want my first thing to be short memory. That means you mess up so much, you don't remember that you mess up and you keep going out there.
when you're dropping mental fortitude as a coach about one of your players, you're just BSing at that point. Like you're making stuff up just to compliment.
But that's the thing that I've loved about Mike McDaniel is he's such a player's coach. If there's any grand mess up, he's taking the blame. So it's like there was a play where Noah got torched and he goes, I haven't let him practice that. He literally was like, I haven't let him practice that enough. That's on me.
On the sword.
That's on me.
Leader.
And then he goes, well, listen, if it happens again, then it's a concern. But for right now, like he's given everybody mulligans in the preseason if they mess up. It's all on old players coach McDaniel.
Yes.
We got a lot of mulligans here, too.
He's a PC.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely is. All right, guys, from a macro perspective, talking about the Dolphins season.
Yes.
Third
Ooh,
most.
are we doing expectations?
I'm doing a little expectation talk.
Like it.
Third most difficult schedule from 1 to 4. Easiest schedule from weeks 5 through 12.
Yes. What you got, Solana? This looks like who tweeted this out? Nobody. I'll tell you that.
Fifth most difficult schedule from 13 to 18.
What does that mean? What does he mean by that?
What do I mean by that?
I think what he means by that: difficult start to the season, easy middle,
tough end.
Tend.
I'd rather have a difficult start to the season because, as cliche as it sounds, kind of anything can happen in those first couple weeks, right? Like, would it really be shocking if the Dolphins went into Cincinnati? I get it. They're a much better team. Burrow's better than Tua. I've heard it all before, but Thursday night football, those games are always such a
weird
disaster.
Things happen.
Like,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't shock me if the Dolphins could beat Cincinnati on the road Thursday night. Also, look, Buffalo's owned Miami. Since I've been a Dolphins fan for the past 2 decades. But really, what is it now, Tobin? 8 in a row for Buffalo over
They're
Miami?
due.
Like, I don't think
sounds like they're due.
Oh, don't do that.
Flo never beat them. He never beat Buffalo. But the thing that scares me is I feel like they have to bank up a good start because I'm terrified of December, January in Buffalo, in New England, because Tua in the cold hasn't been good. And by the way, he said he was like, well, I'm going to go train in the cold this year. Get ready for it. And so I was hoping it was going to be like going into Larry Zonka in Alaska. And so somebody asked him about this. They're like, so Tua, did you end up going anywhere with weather? He goes, went to Maryland with my brother. It's like, all right, man, Maryland in April is not going to help us out.
Hey, a little nippy. Tobin, I don't like this.
60
little
degrees.
nippy.
It's like
little
hoodie
nippy there.
weather.
It's going to be colder in San Francisco.
Yeah.
The last couple games to finish out the year, at San Francisco, at the Chargers, at Buffalo, Green Bay on Christmas, at New England, and then the Jets to round out the season.
That ain't easy. You were
It's
right.
not easy.
Yeah.
But then again,
hey, that Chicago Detroit back to back.
Hold on, let me read that easiest schedule. So
in October.
it's the Jets, a tough game against Minnesota. Pittsburgh, Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, Houston.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So nice. It's literally the easiest schedule in the NFL from weeks 5 through 12.
And by the way, Deshaun still out for that game, right, against Miami, because I think that's week 10.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And he's back the following week. So I mean, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, if you lose that game, just tank the rest of the season.
Oh my God, the Jacoby Brissett
revenge game. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Tua and you lose that game, I mean, just hang it up.
How will the Porpoise Pod be if after 6 games the Dolphins are 2-4?
Oh, we're going to start looking at Lamar Jackson photoshops.
Oh boy, this guy gets it.
Like that's what we're going to be doing. Like that's the thing. It's like I'm like Lamar Jackson, don't need him, but it's nice to know that he'd like to be here. It's in the bank right now.
But does he want to date you, or is he just trying to make his current girlfriend jealous?
Ooh,
that's fair. I mean, if the girlfriend comes with a $250 million engagement ring, I think that the Photoshop. I think it gets unliked immediately. But
it's nice to know that we're attractive enough to threaten another girlfriend. Like he's using us. That's at least a win. When's the last time the Dolphins were that team of like, hey, I might go here? And usually it's like, okay, go there.
I have the answer. Remember when Peyton Manning was on a helicopter?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yep.
But we were bad then, so I guess anyone can be that team.
He's also low-key flirting with the Cowboys. I don't know if you guys saw it because somebody responded to his tweet that he's a Dolphins fan. He said, I was actually a Cowboys fan growing up, and but Dolphins were second, no doubt. Kind of made me a little nervous, Tobin, because who would the Ravens rather have, Tua or Dak Prescott? And I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Jerry Jones to make that trade either. So that kind of scared me, where he gave himself an out for 2 separate trade destinations, Cowboys and Dolphins, and Yeah, I don't know, but listen, you get Lamar Jackson down here. I don't care if the Dolphins started 6-0. Like, get me.
I
Lamar
don't know,
Jackson.
not very accurate. Could get injured with all the runs he does.
We had this conversation earlier today. He's like,
I'm just saying,
he's down on Lamar. I'm like, guy,
I'm not down on Lamar. I'm just saying, if you gave me the choice of every quarterback in the NFL,
will Tua ever win an MVP?
No.
Okay, thank you. Period.
But
end of story.
Will Lamar Jackson win another one?
Maybe.
I don't know. I just think is he a thrower of the football?
If he throws for 3,900 yards and runs for 1,200 yards, like he's winning the MVP.
Right. It just makes me nervous relying on a guy who's a runner.
People do like narrative though. Like, so if there is I could see it. Let's just say this McDaniel is a genius and this Tyreek Hill thing works. Like, I do think that Tua has the fame and like the Dolphins could be like in a spot where like I could see it. Like, I don't think it'll be that kind of a leap, but nobody thought Josh Allen was going to take the leap that he did either.
But coaching though, and that's what you're banking on with McDaniel, hopefully being that Brian Daboll to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And now Tyreek Hill is that Stephon Diggs, where all of a sudden he transcends what we thought he was going to be.
Anything else? What do you guys want to talk about? You guys got to go do shows soon.
Go do promos. What's the promos? Where can we find your guys' stuff? What are we doing? What's the deal?
Yeah.
Porpoise Pod. There's an I in there somewhere.
Porpoise Pod.
It's kind of a weird animal to spell, so I don't know. You just
How do you spell it? Alex, right off the top of your head, can you spell it?
No.
Okay.
I think it's
P-O-R.
Is there a U in it or no?
S-E.
There's no U?
No U.
No, there's no U, but there's an I. There's a weird I.
Porpoise.
Like, it looks like...
Porpoise.
It does kind of look like Porpoise.
It does.
I got water on my nose.
So the Porpoise podcast is available for you on all podcast platforms, including the Odyssey app, I think. But
when it works.
definitely on all the others.
Excellent, guys. And Tobin, you do mornings on 560? No, 790. You're on 790.
For now, who knows? Like, it could.
We have no idea. We were trying to figure it out before the show, like who's on where, and it was like a who's on first routine. We're like, I think Hawk and Crowder on 560. Maybe, I don't know. Or they simulcast.
Trust me, I got a call the other day that made me think that the other day too. I was like, maybe there'll be a Flipski coming. Who knows? But anyway,
I love a good Flipski.
But for now on 790 the tickets 6 to 10 a.m. and again
you're on Twitch too, right?
Yep, 790 ticket on Twitch and the Ticket Miami on YouTube and same on all podcast platforms. Tobin and Leroy. He hates Solana.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
And Hochman and Crowder afternoons on 560, right? I got that right.
Right?
560 from 2 to 6, 790 from 3 to 6.
Oh, okay, so you were
See,
right.
Yeah, a little simulcast.
yeah. 2 to 6 on QAM and
the Joe?
And the Porpoise Pod.
The Joe.
No, not the Joe anymore.
I know it's not the Joe.
That was a ridiculous name.
Yeah, it's still nobody knows why they named it the Joe, by the way. That's it's like a black mark.
And then Joe Rose just walks in. He's like, I have no clue either.
The big dog.
The big dog hated that, man. Like, he was just beside himself because he thought everybody thought he pulled like a big man move, like name this after me, right? And he really didn't. He really didn't.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.